So beauty of social media, you can use it to engage. Some of the disadvantages of social media, right? It can affect your social, emotional connection, so you could be there and you're not connected. People come in and they're dissociated. Don't forget the word connection is to be seen, to be known, right? To be heard, right? So you could be in a group and nobody seemingly sees you. They hear you, but you don't feel they hear you, because hearing is not just someone responding to what you're saying, is that you feel heard, you feel seen. And sometimes you could be in a group and everybody's talking over your head. No one's really connecting with what you're saying. They don't get you. You're talking, but they don't get you. You're speaking a language and they don't seem to understand the language you're speaking, even though you're speaking English. But it's not just the words. It's the understanding of the words you are saying. It's them even giving attention to what you're saying, because sometimes it's not just even the words you're saying, it's what is behind the words you're saying. Right. So to feel a sense of connection is that people are being able to see beyond the words and see the reason why you are saying the words. And sometimes that gets missing in social media. Sometimes if you have not seen a person before, all you can assume is who the person is. And don't forget, communication is not altogether, I've forgotten what percentage it is, probably just 25% of communication is verbal. Don't forget, again, in the hierarchy of communication, what you see is higher than what you hear. So what you see when you are reading what someone has written or what someone is saying, right, is higher. He interprets what you're hearing. So if you don't see the person where that person is, you might have a wrong understanding of what that person is saying. And if you have a wrong understanding of what that person is saying, that person will not feel seen. You will not feel heard. Therefore, you don't connect with that person. That's the problem in marriages, where with this tendency that people grow apart because they stop listening to one another. You get to that place where you're just listening to what you heard. You focus on the words. You're not seeing what's behind the words. What connects two people together is not the words they say. It's the understanding and the hearing of what is not being said. If you cannot hear what is not being said by a person, you cannot connect with that person. Connection is the ability to hear what is not being said, not just what is said. And sometimes that's a limitation of social media. It takes an extra effort to break that limitation. That sometimes even in the office, we say, don't just send emails. Go do some face-to-face. Go meet the person. Because meeting that person and doing a face-to-face helps you to understand when that person is just communicating with you on social media, because then you can interpret what that person is sending by the person you have met. But if you have never met that person, you might be wrongly interpreting the words that the person is using, because you are using a different frame that might be a wrong frame to interpret the words that the person is saying. And until you use the right frame to interpret those words, you cannot see that person. And you cannot see that person, you cannot connect with that person. Right? So that's a limitation of social media, but it can be broken. You just have to take the extra effort to do that. And we'll be talking about that as we go along. Next week, we're going to talk about mindfulness. Being mindful, being aware helps to break that, right? It can also decrease your quick witty skill, because you can delay. Someone sends me a message, I don't have to respond immediately. I can take my time, right? There's not that quick response. I can then become a dullard because I can take 2 days to reply to someone, right? And therefore, I don't have that natural instinct of responding, right? And then people do that. When I send you a message, I'm expecting a response, and some people delay. I've seen some people don't even pick their calls. They choose the calls to pick. I'm not that kind of person. It has its benefit, it has its disadvantages, because I believe in connecting. I believe in relationships, even though, yes, I do understand why some people don't do it, because they're probably not in the right mood, not the right frame. But those are limitations to social media, because if I come to you face to face, I'm going to get that response immediately. But if I'm doing it on social media, I can choose a delay, good. There's also the bad part of it. You lose the skill of life, the skill of relating or meeting with people on a face-to-face level, right? It could also cause distress to someone's feeling. You can imagine when people use the wrong words, right? When people misunderstand you, when people don't get you, it could touch you in the wrong way. It could hit you in the wrong way, right? And it could be nobody's fault. It could be that they're just not getting you. That's all. Uh, they're not getting you. That's all. You're seeing it in one frame, they're seeing it in another frame, and that could be uh, discomforting. It's stressing to you because people are not understanding you, right? But there are ways you can overcome that, but those are possible downfalls, right? They present people could be present physically and not present mentally, and that happened a lot during COVID, right? People log on to meetings and they're not there. They just logged on, or they're there, but they're not there, because then you can do 1,001 things when you're online. You don't give your full attention to the people you're interacting with. You are seemingly multitasking, but the truth is nobody can multitask. You're just simply switching from one thing to the other. And when you're switched away, something that's important might have been said at that point in time, and you miss it, right? Yeah, but let me welcome Toba here. Toba, how are you doing?
I'm good. Good afternoon, sir.
Awesome. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good to have you.
Thank you, sir.
Sorry, sorry we didn't meet last Sunday, but thank God we can do it today.
Fine, fine.
I was church today. Awesome, awesome. So today we're just looking at social media as a way that helps us to give attention to relationship. So we've talked about the advantages. We're here talking about some of the disadvantages of it, right? So it also it could bring a lacking of understanding and thoughtfulness. Like we said, you might not understand someone because of the frame in which you are reading what they are saying. If you've never met the person before, you might be wrongly interpreting what the person is saying. And you could also be bashful with the person. You might not have empathy if you cannot feel the person, right? So those are possible pitfalls, with social media. It could also be a lack of quality family time because you're distracted. People gather together as family and everybody's on social media. You're supposed to be together with family, but each person is connected with other people outside that physical connection that you have, So it takes the extra effort, but we need to work at it. There's the possible disadvantages of social media, that you're not present where you are physically because you have a media in front of you that takes you away from where you are, physically with your family. So though you're there physically, you're not there socially. You're not able to connect with the people you are with physically. So it could be a distraction, So we need to be careful that it doesn't break our family, My children have accused me of that, when I used to be active here with my marriage community. I spent a lot of time with it, and I guess that took away from time I could spend with my children. That didn't go well. And have had to learn from that, and I'm trying to do better. They're all grown now. I lost that opportunity, but I'm trying to do better, but that's something we're all exposed to. Uh, One of the disadvantages of social media could include cyberbullying, people coming there and trying to bully other people, I know because we're all different. There's the alpha, delta, different kind of personality. So you can outspeak some people and damage their spirit, so we have to be careful to know that not everybody can take the beatings that we can take, and have empathy, towards others. It could go to hacking, people steal people's code, login code, hack into their channels, their WhatsApp, and all of that, and do some crooked swindling things. So those are possibilities out there that one needs to watch out for, It could also mean distracted mind, right? Again, like I said, you're in one place, but your mind is somewhere else. You have to watch out for that. There are people that are in class or at work, and they're all there on social media, and you're paid to do that job or paid to be where you are, And one of the things we're talking about next week, is mindfulness. It's pretty much being present where you are, right? You be being present where you are. If you're on social media, be present. If you're in real life engagement, be present. That's a benefit of your life. Where you are not present, you cannot be active. You cannot live. So a lot of people spend time, but they're not alive because they are torn between several places. They're not in any of them. They're just torn between several places, or they're just a little there, a little here, and they're nowhere. Those are possible disadvantages of social media. All right. It could also facilitate laziness, right? You don't go out and do the real thing. You're always online, Instead of you to do your job, do your chores and your chores in the house, social media, Facebook. You're not facing life. Social media has its place. There are things you need to engage with in life. Whether it be to go wash the car, sweep your house, go to work, go engage with people, go make friends. The friends will be made on real face-to-face, other than being on social media. So don't use that as a place to escape life. If you use social media to escape life, it will hurt you. It will hurt you. Life is not marked. Whatsoever you sow, you reap. If you use social media as a way to escape life, you will not live. You will not find life. Social media should be a tool to engage life, not to run away from life. You use social media to engage life, not to run away from life. Because whatsoever you sow, you will reap. You might have 1 million friends on social media. That doesn't equate to one friend in real life, right? Because you have 1 million friends on social media, it doesn't mean that you get any one of them to attend an event that's real life, or you need somebody to hug, right? There's a difference between hugging someone in real life and hugging someone on social media. They're different. It's touch. You cannot replace it. You cannot replace touch, right? And you can't find touch on social media. No matter the tech, you can't find touch. That's a place when skin touches skin, blood touches blood. You can't. Social media will not replace that, right? So you need to balance things out. Hey, Ada, thanks for joining me. I appreciate your comment. And what we're talking about today is just social media. Right now, we're just talking about disadvantages. Thanks for coming along. Later on, I will drop the reel on my page on Instagram. It will also be on YouTube live, so you can find the full recording of this. All we're doing today is just talking about social media as part of our book that we're reading into. It's just chapter 5 of the book, and we're talking about attention to relationship, and this is just a subset of that. Next week we'll talk about consciousness, mindfulness, being to close out the chapter. So it could also be an addiction, right? social media could be addictive. And that's what we call the FOMO, where you have the fear of missing out, right? Yeah, what have they said? What's raining? That will kill you. That will kill your life. That will kill your destiny. You need to control social media. Don't let it control you. And people get cheated also because of social media. Again, you can meet your lost flame. You're married, but you meet someone that you almost married before, or you meet someone that looks so attractive on social media, and people do sex on social media and different things. You need to be careful. I was counseling a lady that met someone on social media, and from then they connected face to face and did some stupid things. you know that's not the intent of social media, except you're looking for trouble in your life.